Hello there and welcome to my channel. My name is Dr. Rachel Gilmore and I am a speaker, I am a doctor, I am a life transformation and resilience activator or coach if you want to call me, and welcome to another video. I've been wanting to talk about this for a while, and as you can see, I'm in my very undone home office now that still we're working on it. We're building the cabinets and stuff behind me here pretty soon. And I wanted to come to you today and tell you about a topic that's been, like I said, kind of brewing and really important to me. And I'm going to start with a story because we moved recently. So we moved from Foley, Alabama to Daphne while I was working at least 40 plus hours at my job, also training and working with online clients, as well as building another business that is going to be coming out soon for you all. And somehow through all of this, I was able to maintain the same energy, the same grit, the same resilience, and not bottom out this time, which is kind of a problem for people. Like, I see people all day, every day now, because I'm working at the Joint Chiropractic, which is a franchise. We've got 950 locations. And one thing that I see all the time with people is that their trauma and their stress and their ability to handle everyday emotional things and life stressors really just gets in the way, and it provokes pain and it causes a whole host of other issues, and from illnesses to disease to pain to sickness and all sorts of things. And people are just unable to deal with this on a regular basis. And it got me thinking, because back when I was in school, when I was in chiropractic school, like clockwork, I would get sick around finals time. All the stress is building, trying to stay on habits, like trying to stay working out, trying to stay boxing, trying to manage the stress, taking 30 plus credit hours, and sometimes having anywhere from 8 to, I think the most we had one time was maybe 15 exams. It could have been more than that, maybe a few less, when we had labs and classes and all sorts of things. And like nobody's business, every single time I would get sick. My body would be like, all right, you're done. You're getting sick because you won't slow down. And notoriously, if you know me, that's one thing that, I seem to amaze people by not bottoming out and not slowing down and having the same grit and tenacity and energy that I try to bring to everybody, even on the days when I just don't feel like it. And moving is a major life stressor for people. Finances, commute to work, relationship stress, I think, are some of the top ones. Job conditions, that's another one, right? As far as like the statistics are concerned. And all of these things can contribute to what we call allostatic load. And if I had my water cup sitting here, I would grab the cup and show you this, because our allostatic load is basically the combination of all of the things that we have in life, whether good or bad, that contribute to the amount of stress that our body is under and the amount of durability that we have. Because once that cup tips over, then we start to have processes like disease and like illnesses and pain and more muscle tightness and more sickness and all sorts of things. And this is a concept that I talk about heavily and that I'm going to be bringing to you in the new exciting thing that's coming. Stay tuned because there will be an announcement about that as well. And allostatic load really just, people's cup is so full nowadays. People's cups in general is so full with more things that really don't matter. Kind of like this phone that you're watching on right now, the constant pinging of notifications. Like the computer, even the computer has the same amount of notifications. Like if you've got a MacBook, if you've got a Windows, I don't know, because I don't have Windows anymore. I'm Mac for life, man. Mac for life. And people have a hard time handling this. We feel like we should be constantly responding and constantly doing things and constantly keeping up with other people and trying to fix other people's problems. And the list goes on. And I am coming to you with this message today because I understand. For the majority of my life, I have been a people pleaser. I have not been good at setting boundaries. Have not been good at speaking my mind and speaking up. And, it really takes a toll on you. It really does. And the first time, like in the past couple years, that I had to like assert myself and stand up to somebody that I was honestly like nervous to stand up to, I was probably shaking in my boots. Like, I hope this person didn't realize it, but I was nervous and I ruminated over it beforehand. Oh, what are they going to say? Trying to predict the conversation because anxiety, right? And if you don't know, if you're new to my channel, I have been an what I call anxiety thriver and recoverer of chronic anxiety for years. And this, in my opinion, is a trauma response and a stress response that I was introduced in from the time I was young, because no offense, hi mom, if she's watching, my mom was always like this, and my dad always had a lot of reactions, right? And it was constantly chaotic. Like, my parents got divorced when I was 7, if you don't know this. If you're new to my channel at all, welcome to the chaos and welcome to the portion of this that is activating your resiliency. That's why I'm so passionate about this, because your adaptability is going to determine how much you're able to hand in that allostatic load that we talked about. Because if we are not adaptable and we are constantly anxious and constantly stressed and constantly worrying about what we can't control and other people and all sorts of things, and just adding and adding and adding, like, oh, the finances, and oh, my bank statement, and oh, this, and oh, this work thing, and oh, this person wants me to do this, and the list goes on and on. I hope that you don't feel stressed from watching this right now, because honestly, I remember how I used to feel. And moving, let me just tell you, we were not ready. We were not ready. The last time I moved from Fairhope down to Foley, we moved my entire clinic. I started a brand new business the weekend before, and then the weekend after, I packed my entire house in 2 days and managed to move our family. And we have a son who is younger. He's a toddler, and he was younger at the time. It was a couple years ago. And this time we had been preparing, but we're still not ready. I was still packing boxes. And by the time they got the final thing loaded on the truck, I was packing up the last box for them to take. So, and of course, all the cleaning and stuff like that afterwards. So all of the odds were stacked against me. But one of the things I want to tell you about is, how did I get through this? And how was I able to manage this without losing my shit, excuse my language, without like falling apart, without getting sick, and, just really keep it together through this entire thing. And, this is, like I said, while working a full-time job, while taking care of people online, while still posting social media content for my brand, trying to edit YouTube videos for this channel and things like that. And I didn't bottom out. Why is that? Because my adaptability of my nervous system and the adaptability that I have built through physical strength, through mental strength, through meditation, and some of the things we're going to get into here, is so high that it didn't faze me. That there was nothing that was going to faze me at this point, including almost emptying out my bank account to move us. And I was still fine the entire time. And I want to impart that on you, because if this sounds like something that's like, I don't know how you did that, I want to know. I want to know more. Then I urge you to follow me and to stay tuned for what is coming, because it's going to be super exciting. It's going to be, you can tell the passion and the fire there. And yes, I'm like this most of the time, especially when I get fired up. And even today, I was kind of low. I didn't want to get on here and talk, but I knew I needed to share this message, and I knew that somebody out there needs to hear this message. So I was like, all right, take a second, take a breath, press record, because that's what we are going to do right now, is talk about some other things of how I was able to get there. So if you've got something stressful in your life, or you find yourself constantly ruminating, or any of the things I'm about to tell you, doom scrolling, binging out on Netflix while either snacking or not, or doing other habits that don't serve you, and you find that you just have a hard time handling like your day-to-day stressors, let alone the other stressors that can come into your life, like moving, or like a financial obligation, or even this could even go as far as into like a pregnancy for my ladies out there, or for the husbands, or the dads or whatnot, new baby coming into the world, or anything of the sort. Because like we said earlier, moving is one of the major life stressors, and I've moved more times than I can count over the past, so we might be experts at this, right? I've moved so many times, and every single time, yes, did I get overwhelmed during the process? Absolutely. Abso-freaking-lutely. Like, did I want to just say, all right, we're not just going to, you can't just say we're not going to do this. Did we try to start earlier? Sure, we did. But did we make it? Did we get everything done that we needed to get done early enough? No, we did not. Were we kind of scrambling at the end? Absolutely, we were. Most people are. Nothing is ever going to be perfect. But one major thing that you can do for yourself during this type of process and to help yourself, like make this a little bit easier, is the first thing is let go of the expectations of everything being perfect. And the concept of letting go is something that I can tell you, even last year, I was not good at this concept. Kind of like letting go of the expectation of not having the perfect backdrop behind this video right now. Oh, that's a reason why I can't record it right now. No, it's not a reason why you can't record it. Oh, I don't feel like working out today, so I'm not going to do it. I can tell you that if I did things when I felt like it, I would never get anything done, because you know what me wants to do, and you can level with this, you probably can, is sit on the couch and what I like to call now couch rot through playing games or doom scrolling or watching some TV show that, you know, it's kind of like sports. I said this one day, and I'm probably going to offend some people out there, and that's totally okay, but the players don't care about you. So you're wasting time, 4 hours, watching a sporting event that, although gives you meaning and value because you feel like you're participating in something and it's a cultural thing and all of this. But I've gotten to the point where now, honestly, like, watching sports to me is kind of a waste of time, and that's totally okay. Like, do I enjoy sports? Sure. Like it. Yeah. Do I know a lot about the biomechanics and everything about the movement and stuff? Yes, absolutely. Do I have things that I like to watch? Sure. I'm not saying that you shouldn't do things that you love, because that is part of, you know, one of the second things we're going to talk about, but letting go of your expectation, because the expectation of things going exactly how you want it is going to set you up for failure. And this, a great example is when I had my son. Yes, did I want a natural birth? Absolutely. Yes, did I want to avoid having an epidural? Absolutely. Did I want to, like, in some ways have a home birth and, you know, do it in water? Yeah. I had this vision in my head back in the very beginning. And one thing that I knew in this core of my soul, and if you know me or know anything about my story, then you know I have a massive scoliosis. My hips are shifted so that my pelvis is not a normal orientation. And one thing that I talked with my OB about, and he was not sure about this. He's like, I asked him, I was like, do you think my pelvis is going to be able to open up so that I can have him naturally? And the answer overarching was, we're not sure. We don't know. So he gives me the form and says, hey, if something happens and if we can't do this naturally, and I know my doulas and my holistic people out there will have an opinion, and maybe it could have been avoided. I have no idea. I know that they did the best, and I know that God did everything he could do to get him there safely, and he did get there safely. So he hands me the form and he says, all right, if something happens, I need you to sign this so that you can, you know, basically forego the natural birth and we can turn over to medical methods to be able to get him here. And I said, all right, you know, that's fine. I give it to God. I sign here. And that's what happened. Like, my labor was not perfect. He didn't descend past a certain point. Would he have stayed in there a little bit longer? I think he probably would have stayed in there 2 more weeks after that. But we set the date. Yes, I had an induction in order to get my OB to be there. It's a whole thing. Like, we could go into all the other things about this. But the point of this is, was it the way that I imagined? No, it was not. Had I held on to that, and I had a lot of grief over this after the fact, and a lot of like postpartum anxiety and everything that I had to learn to let go of, because like this picture here, I happen to have this sitting here. He was a perfect little chunk, and he got here safely. Was it perfect? No. Did I end up having a medicated birth? Yeah, I had to have an epidural. They almost had to take me into the OR because he would not descend through my pelvic outlet. He wouldn't. It wasn't perfect. And had I gotten better at this concept sooner on of letting go of things, it may have been different. I may not have had so much anxiety and so much grief and everything after the fact. I might have been more adaptable after the fact. Did I labor naturally for 13 hours? Yeah, I did. Did we try everything we could to get him here? Yeah. Did I have to be in the hospital? Probably not, but his blood pressure dropped. It could have put us in danger. there was a lot of things. We're not going to get into all of that right now, but the concept of letting go of expectations. So I let go of the fact that this move had to be perfect and everything had to be perfect. And, we were going to get unpacked in so much time. And, we ended up taking double the crew in the same amount of time, and it would have taken double the amount of time, right? So it ended up being more financially. So things didn't exactly go as planned, right? Did anything get broken? No. Or did we get here safely? Yeah, everything was fine. Everything worked out. And had I had this perfectionist mindset that I used to have, that I've kind of broken myself of, I probably wouldn't be sitting here recording this video today. I've wanted to talk about this for a while, and it always kind of, you just prevent yourself from doing it for whatever reason. Some of us are professional procrastinators, and procrastination is just another, excuse that we have, and another reason that your brain comes up with to not do something because you think it's not perfect, because you think that it's got to go a certain way. So we procrastinate and we put it off for different reasons. And some of it could be anxiety, some of it could be stress. I could go on and on about this topic. So, and another thing, so the second thing that I want to talk about here is I focused on the joy in the process and the moments of gratitude and what it would feel like being in the new house, because this is twice as big as our last home was. It is in a great location. We basically upgraded from where we were. It has the perfect back patio. Like, it's enclosed completely. It's white. It's got windows everywhere. Like, there are so many things about this, but when I caught myself focusing on the negativity about potentially being here and things like that, when you first you get into something and you're like, oh, I don't know, what if this is wrong? What if that is wrong? What if this is not perfect? All the what ifs come in, and you start getting into that resistance, because the resistance is what comes up when we are uncomfortable, when something is new, when something is changing. And if you leave yourself in the resistance, you're going to find yourself in the same situation, ruminating and being miserable and finding everything that is wrong, and thus attracting negativity into your field. Trust me, from personal experience, I know this. So I actually have a daily glimmer journal that I keep, and it's just a regular notebook, like so, just a regular notebook. And I write down my daily glimmers in here. What was good? What is a moment that you stopped and just breathed and enjoyed? What was something positive that happened? Because if you do this, your brain will then go finding things that are positive to focus on instead of the negativity. So finding gratitude through the process keeps you present. And what do we find about our peaceful friends, about our people that, are laissez-faire and they don't care and they just don't have a worry in the world? They're probably present. Could they be ignoring all the regular responsibilities? Sure, my brain immediately wants to go to these things and talk about what if, and, don't you have these things to worry about? And don't we need to be doing this? Because sometimes we crave chaos. Talked about that earlier. My childhood was not perfect. I mean, yes, do we have a good childhood? Absolutely. Were we always provided for? Sure. Was there a lot of drama and chaos? Yeah, there was. So knowing that and helping work on that with myself and helping let go of some of those tendencies and reshaping my reality through new perception and feeling like what it's going to be like to get into this house, you're able to change your perception of reality. And you've heard me talk about this a lot, but it's a bigger concept, and I want to dedicate some more actual videos to that. So we talked about letting go. We talked about focusing on gratitude and the glimmers and being in the feeling. Let's talk about being in the feeling a little bit more. When you are in the feeling of the thing that you want to be in, your perception shifts. And some might say, in the esoteric space, quantum physics, drawing things into you, the law of attraction, there's so many things out there on this, that if you feel and connect to the emotional state, your heart coherence of what it is going to feel like to be there, you can draw it to you faster, because in that space, ideally, the thing that you want already exists. The pain-free life, the healed life, that version of you, the speaker, the, millionaire, whatever it is, that version of you already exists out there somewhere because you can see it in your mind's eye. So if you feel it, you draw it in to you faster. We got here, we managed to break our lease without any ramifications because there was a whole lot of drama around that. The floor was coming up in the old house. They didn't do anything about it. It's been a year. Somebody injured my son injured his foot on the floor. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. And we were like, all right, no more. We are choosing to move into the future faster than we were supposed to. So we did. I visualized what will be this space so many times before being here, before finding this. And we walked through the door and I was like, this feels familiar. This feels familiar. Why does this feel familiar? Because I was already in the feeling of being here and drawing it in. This has happened to me more times than I can count over the past 4 years, is visualizing something in the future, drawing it into myself and having it manifest faster into my reality. Now, it's a little different of a concept that I wanted to get on today, but if you want more information about that, drop a comment below and drop some likes and everything, and we'll talk about that. It is your God-given purpose to succeed, my friends. It is, and to be resilient and to have the grit and to not fall victim to all of the life stressors like moving. So I slowed down. I was in the feeling. I focused on the gratitude. I let go of the expectations. Let's give you one more thing that can impact you today in your life going forward. And this one is super easy and it's probably already a given. And I'm going to go ahead and preface this by saying I didn't work out one time in the month to month and a half before we moved. I did not. Coming from somebody who is pretty consistent on working out, who used to box 5 to 6 days a week and work out a couple days in there as well, I'd have a dedicated rest day and has done bodybuilding and everything. That was out of the norm for me. But you know what I did do? I did take care of everything else. I did try to get sleep at night. I did drink a ton of water with my hydration supplements, and I'll link the one that I love below. You can get a sampler pack with that one. Shout out to Element because I love these guys. I'm still a distributor and still distribute locally for them. I got my water in. I got nutritious food in, although the month that we moved, we had more crap food and takeout than we had had in a while. So was everything perfect? No, but there was no expectation. I recovered. I tried to get sleep, handled things as they came to me. And thus you're building that adaptability muscle, because the more you do things that you tell yourself you need to do or that you're supposed to do without the expectation, and you're just consistent on the imperfect action, the faster things will get done and come to you, because a wish or a dream without action is only a thought. You have to, and it is required of you to take action on the thing that you want to happen. Had I decided, oh, we want to move, we want to be in this house, we want to be here, and we didn't come in and paint and, get it ready and clean up everything like in the backyard and build a fence and pack our house, would we have moved? No, that sounds ridiculous. And you can probably think that sounds ridiculous anyways. No, Rachel, you wouldn't have moved because you didn't actually do anything to get there. So if you're sitting there wanting that business, wanting that life, wanting that pain to go away, wanting something different than what you want right now, and you're wondering why it's not there yet, take a look at your actions. Look at what you're focusing on a daily basis. Look at what you're writing down. Look at your power list if you have one. I know I do. Look at how much time you've spent not doing the things that you need to do. And remember, my friends, that adaptability and resiliency is a muscle that can be built. I hope you got something from this today. If you did, make sure you like and subscribe to my channel for more content like this. And like I said earlier in the video, stay tuned for something super exciting coming to you soon. So I hope you have a wonderful evening. And if you have any questions, as always, drop a comment below and go build your truest best, most resilient, most activated, most grateful, and most blessed life, my friends. We'll talk soon.